At 82 years old, I've gathered many insights about life, but there's one choice I regret more than anything: moving into a nursing home. Back then, it felt like the right thing to do. My family reassured me, saying it would provide the care and comfort I needed. I trusted them. Yet, upon my arrival, the experience was nothing like what I had envisioned. If you or someone you care about is thinking about this option, I want to share 6 important things I wish I had known before making this significant decision. Life in a nursing home isn't just about convenience, it alters everything, and escaping from it isn't as easy as it might appear. Regret 1: the loss of freedom. The most unsettling part of moving into a nursing home wasn't the cramped space or the rigid meal times. It was the realization that I had surrendered control over my life. Prior to moving, I had my own routines. I decided when to wake up, what time to eat, and how to fill my day. I could go for a walk whenever I wished or take a peaceful moment with a good book. But in the nursing home, I quickly understood that my time was no longer mine to manage. Everything followed a strict timetable: meals, bedtime, even walks required approval. Simple choices, like what to wear or what to eat, felt more like luxuries than basic rights. Once you let go of your independence, reclaiming it becomes almost impossible. You learn to adjust, but in doing so, you lose a part of yourself. Before committing to a nursing home, ask yourself if you're willing to give up the small freedoms that make your life your own. Regret 2: feeling forgotten. One of the hardest truths about moving into a nursing home is realizing that the world outside keeps moving without you. When I first arrived, my family reassured me they would visit often, and for a while, they did. My daughter came by once a week, and my grandchildren visited on weekends. But as the months went by, the visits became less frequent. My daughter called instead of coming, and my grandchildren got busy with their lives. Holidays were the hardest, plans were made, but often changed last minute, leaving me alone in a common room, hoping someone would remember. It wasn't that my family stopped loving me, but life got in the way. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, are you prepared for the loneliness? Because once you're out of sight, it's easy to be forgotten. Regret 3: losing my sense of direction. Before I entered the nursing home, I had responsibilities that kept me engaged, simple things like tending to plants, making my coffee, and following routines. These tasks gave me a sense of accomplishment and purpose. However, once I settled into the nursing home, those daily rituals vanished. Meals were delivered to me, cleaning was handled by staff, and the plants I once cared for were no longer mine. Initially, I welcomed the break, but after a few weeks, I realized something was missing. Without activities to engage in or things to care for, life began to feel empty. I saw the same happen to other residents. People who once had a sense of direction now simply pass the time, staring into space. If you're contemplating a move to a nursing home, think about what truly gives your life meaning. After making the transition, it's not about filling the day, it's about keeping the things alive that bring you joy and purpose. Regret 4: a faster decline in my health. Before I moved into the nursing home, I was managing well for my age. I wasn't in peak physical condition, but I could take care of myself, go for walks, and prepare my own meals. However, once I settled in, everything shifted. Meals were served to me, and I no longer had to cook for myself. At first, it felt like a comfort, but I quickly noticed that the less I did for myself, the more my health began to decline. I stopped moving around as much, and my strength faded faster than I had ever anticipated. I observed this happening to others as well. People who once walked independently now need wheelchairs. If you're thinking about moving into a nursing home, consider whether you'll stay motivated to stay active when everything around you is designed for ease. Once you lose momentum, it's not as simple to regain it. Regret 5: the erosion of privacy and self-respect. One aspect I didn't fully grasp before moving into the nursing home was just how much privacy I would be giving up. At home, I had my own sanctuary. I could retreat to my bedroom, enjoy some quiet time, and do things as I pleased. But in a nursing home, privacy becomes something rare and fleeting. From the moment I arrived, I felt as though I was constantly under observation. Staff were frequently coming and going, room inspections were routine, and shared spaces made it nearly impossible to be alone. Even basic activities like dressing or using the bathroom often required someone else's help. Though I understood they were just doing their job, it wasn't easy to accept assistance for tasks I had always done independently. I vividly recall my first week, feeling uneasy about needing permission for actions that had always been second nature to me. Want a shower? You may have to wait for someone to be free to assist you. Need to use the bathroom? Sometimes pressing the call button results in longer delays than expected. Even meal options were restrictive. If I didn't like the menu, there wasn't much I could do. And then, there's the challenge of roommates. Private rooms aren't always an option, and sharing a space with someone you didn't choose can be frustrating. While I was fortunate enough to have a kind roommate, I heard many others share their difficult experiences, including roommates who were noisy, unkempt, or dealing with cognitive issues that made sleep almost impossible. No matter how much you try to personalize your room, it never truly feels like home. The loss of dignity is a difficult reality to accept, and I didn't fully realize how much I would have to relinquish until I was already there. When people enter without waiting for an answer, when you're addressed as a patient rather than a person, and when your daily life is governed by a schedule that isn't yours, it takes its toll. You start to feel less like yourself and more like just another name in the system. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, are you prepared to give up the privacy and autonomy you've known your entire life? Once it's gone, regaining it isn't so simple. Regret 6. Discovering how difficult it is to leave. When I first moved into the nursing home, I convinced myself it would be a temporary arrangement. I thought I would give it a try, assess how things went, and if it didn't suit me, I could always leave. But what I didn't anticipate was just how challenging it would be to leave once I was settled in. Initially, it seemed like an easy option. I'd just return home if I wasn't happy. However, when I went back to my house, it wasn't the same. The house stood empty, and keeping up with its upkeep from afar became a hassle. My children had already started making changes, selling things they thought I no longer needed, and even talking about renting the place out. When I suggested going back, they were reluctant. Are you sure you can manage alone? Wouldn't it be safer to stay here? We just want what's best for you. Then there was the reality of physical decline. After months of being in a place where I didn't have to cook, clean, or move much, I found that I wasn't as strong as I used to be. The independence I once had seemed to slip away, and the thought of going back home became more daunting than I ever expected. I lacked confidence in my ability to live independently, and that fear made it harder to even consider leaving. I met others in the same situation, people who thought they'd try the nursing home for a short while, only to find that leaving wasn't as simple as they imagined. The longer you stay, the more difficult it becomes to return to life outside. Some people even lost the ability to go back once their homes were sold or their savings were exhausted by the cost of care. There was no turning back. That's the reality nobody warns you about. Moving in feels like a reversible decision, but for many, it's not. The nursing home gradually becomes your entire world, and before long, the outside life you once knew feels like a faraway dream. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to face the possibility that once you move in, leaving might not be as straightforward as you think? Once you settle in, the obstacles, whether emotional, physical, or financial, can become more difficult to overcome than you anticipate. Closing reflections. Looking back, I don't regret aging, but I do regret thinking that a nursing home was my only viable choice. I entered with the expectation of comfort, security, and an improved quality of life. Instead, I found myself in an environment that gradually stripped away my independence, my privacy, my sense of purpose, and even my identity. Does this mean that nursing homes are inherently bad? Not at all. For some, the level of care they offer is essential. However, it's crucial to carefully consider what you're relinquishing before making that decision. Once you move in, things may never be the same. If I had the chance to do it again, I would have fought harder to remain in my own home, sought alternatives for assistance without sacrificing my freedom, and ensured that moving to a nursing home was absolutely necessary before making such a permanent change. If you're currently facing this choice, I urge you to pause and ask yourself, is this truly the best decision for me, or is it simply the easiest one at the moment? The life you have right now, your routines, your independence, and your ability to make choices, is something worth cherishing for as long as possible. Thank you for being with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it to your life. Your insights are important to us, and reading your comments motivates and encourages us. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support enables us to continue creating valuable content that informs and inspires. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to connecting with you in the next video.